I'm Johnny Mac with your daily comedy news. It is Comedy Day, the 41st annual Comedy Day in San Francisco. Golden Gate Park will be overrun with jokesters today, celebrating the 41st annual SF Comedy Day. It takes place in Robin Williams Meadow. The event features 50 comedians and over 5 hours of sketches, stand-up and giggling stoners watching from Hippie Hill. Performers are a mix of local favorites and visiting acts spattered across 6 acts. Performing to an estimated crowd of 15,000. Admission is free. Let's see who's going to be there. They've been updating this website. 11:45, music by the Salty Nuts. Set 1 at 12:10. No names here that I recognize. If you do, you know more about comedy than I do. I'm not seeing any household names here. Until set 6 at 4 o'clock, Brian Posehn, Will Durst, and Paula Poundstone are part of set 6. That's at 4 o'clock. So if you're in San Francisco today, that's a good time. No? Yes. Craig Ferguson talked to the Free Press. He admits to having a weakness for enormous U.S. trucks. He recently asked his 2.6 million Twitter followers to vote whether or not he should get a Ford F-150 or a Ram 1500 Bighorn for his tour. 51.3% picked the Ford, 48.7% for the Dodge. Craig said, I'll tell you the truth, by the time I put the poll on Twitter, I'd already bought the Ram. It was more of an opinion poll, and I was like, you guys suck, I got the Ram. But it was a close call. He doesn't really want to talk about politics during this tour. There'll be some mention of what went on the planet Earth for the last 3 years, but we're keeping it light. I'm not political at all in the act. I'm a human being. I have political opinions. Of course I do. It's a stylistic choice. There's talk of Craig Ferguson launching a podcast. That would be fun. He said, I have an idea to do an interview show, and I've been talking to some people about doing it. They're keen for me to do it, and I am keen to do it too. But I'm a little leery because I don't really think I do interviews, to be honest. I'm not a journalist. I'm not a trained broadcaster. I'm just lucky in a sense that I talk to people and I'm interested in what they have to say. I had to spend some quality time with Craig. Oh, it's got to be over a decade ago. He was doing some work for the Radio Classics channel, and we got in the studio and we were just improvising. And by we, I mean the improvisers in the room. I wasn't doing any improvising at all. But Craig was really cool and a lot of fun to work with and hilarious and really quick on his feet as an improviser. The Hollywood Reporter caught up with Fortune Feimster. She's got a special coming up on Netflix pretty soon. And they asked her, do you find your material being received differently as you travel? Fortune said, I go into it with the perspective of, I'm going to tell you a story. Obviously, you hope that people from different walks of life can still find something in your story that's relatable. But I want to say I did 100 cities on the tour, and I was hitting a lot of markets I've never been to, and there were places that as a gay woman, you think in your head, how's this going to go? How's this material going to be received? Places blew me away, from Mobile, Alabama to Tulsa, Oklahoma to Chattanooga, Tennessee. That sounds like a country song in itself. I'd look out at the audience, and there were all kinds of people, and they were laughing at a common thing, which you find less and less of today. The Hollywood Reporter said, the special explores the theme of, I'm not who at first glance you think I'm going to be. And they were curious how that played out in her Hollywood career. Fortune said, I think the odds of someone like me making it in a place like LA in this business are slim. I mean, I'm from a tiny town. I don't look like a lot of people on TV. I have this accent. I have crazy hair. I'm not your typical Hollywood person. So I'm already defying those odds. But I feel like it's been cool to be able to have this stand-up platform because it allows you to cut through that thing where you don't have to be this person that fits the Hollywood mold. You can just be yourself and hope that people connect with that in whatever way. So I'm really grateful that stand-up has allowed me to share who I am. With Sweet and Salty, I feel like I got to tell people who I was growing up and the mistakes that I made. Now, with this new special, I'm going to tell you who I am as an adult. I may look tough, and I might have these broad shoulders and whatnot, but I'm a little more delicate than that. And I love that stand-up allows me to cut through the Hollywood filter and be like, this is me. She added, I would say that Joe Coy had a very similar experience. I've been in LA for almost 20 years and it took the industry a long time to get on board with me and figure out what to do with me. Because when I was coming up, being different wasn't considered a feather in your cap. It was more like, you don't fit this mold, and we've had this industry all these years. So I was told no all the time, but you just had to hope that you'd do the work, and at some point it would pay off. And now I feel like we're entering a time in this industry where being different is considered a good thing, and I love that because there's room for many different voices, and you want to hear different voices and different perspectives. So I'm really, really grateful that 20 years in, I'm getting cool opportunities, and I'm able to be on a platform like Netflix that's putting my story out there worldwide, and now I just hope people watch this special. Fortune Feimster, September 25th on Netflix. Vulture has their annual Comedians You Should Know list. Today's comedian you should know is Andrew Lopez. Andrew Lopez does not have a variety of stand-up clips available to watch online. Why would he? As a tour opener for Joe Coy, he regularly plays crowd-pleasing sets to an arena-size audience. In an Instagram video, he tackles the often discussed subject of representation in media. He talks about the film Crazy Rich Asians. He said, I drove to the ArcLight, that's a theater in LA, at 8 in the morning, and me and 14 Asian people tailgated like it was the Super Bowl. You want to know why Asians talk about that movie so much? Because it took my entire life to see Asians on a movie screen, but Hollywood made 6 Air Buds in 7 years. Well, Andrew Lopez, what are you best known for? He said, I did an open call photo shoot for Target when I was broke so I could pay rent. I think I got paid $100. I completely forgot about it. And 2 years later, a blown out picture of me in a photoshopped outfit and glasses was in every Target in America. I get more texts of that photo than I do people wishing me happy birthday. Honestly, it's reconnected me with a lot of people I've lost contact with over time. So thank you, Target. Best comedy advice, worst comedy advice. Best, Joe Coy telling me to slow down and have fun. Worst, start a Vine. The Wrap took a look at the history of the laugh track. Do you like laugh tracks? Of course not. They suck. For decades, beginning in the 50s, TV comedies boosted their punchlines with the use of recorded laughter. I tried to watch The Big Bang Theory because I heard it was a popular TV show about like sci-fi nerds and geeks, and that was right in my wheelhouse. I lasted, 2 minutes because the laugh track can't deal with it. In a time when TV shows were primarily filmed in front of a studio audience, the 50s, CBS sound engineer Charlie Douglas thought the audience's organic reactions weren't good enough, so he started manipulating the audio levels in post-production, developing a machine nicknamed the Laugh Box, L-A-F-F box. Norman Lear, producer of so many great comedies, said the shows we did never used a laugh track. Each and every episode was performed and photographed before a live studio audience. I never had a more spiritual experience than watching an audience of 200 to 300 people when they were enjoying a belly laugh. I'm confident that added time to my life. Jeff Reno wrote from Mork and Mindy and said, my knee-jerk reaction is I've never liked them. They're manipulative and are usually way too effusive for what are often really mediocre jokes. Amen, brother. Audiences get trained to laugh at the place they know a punchline belongs, whether it's funny or not. The most contentious battles were on MASH. The producers fought hard against it. The Compromise. When you're in the operating room, no laugh track, but outdoors, laugh track. And that is your comedy news for today. You can follow the show for free on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, wherever you get your shows, and I'll see you tomorrow.